Look at this. Hope deceives more men than cunning does. Marquis de Vauvenargues, something like that. Or, there are numerous similarities between marketing and religion, and the line between the two has become increasingly blurred. Mara Einstein. Einstein? Well, I read this book probably 8 years ago. It's The Consumer Instinct by Gad Saad. And, well, I don't know why this phrase, hope deceives more men than cunning ever does, really resonated with me, and I highlighted. And luckily, I read this in a Kindle, so I have it right here, highlighted. I'm gonna show you because, well, I don't want to move the camera. But the point is that I said, yeah, that's totally true. And it's a confirmation bias and all that. We believe what we want to be true. And that's the way a lot of people tricks us. And well, this other thing about religion and marketing being similar, it is also enlightening. Well, because I remember I was thinking about this at that time, because if you believe that there's gonna be a miracle, you're more likely to actually believe a conning guy, a conman who tricks you, who sells you hope. So this, I think, to me, this is interesting. Maybe someday I can do a remastering of my videos. This is just gonna be my archive of fat videos with good ideas, in my opinion. And I don't blame anybody for not sticking around. But if you hear one idea that you think it's worth your time, well, you can look it up, because I don't know when I'm gonna do, if ever, this remasterization. But in a way, it's well, speaking of hope. Anyway, speaking of hope, every time you do a video, you kind of hoping. You're kind of buying a lottery ticket. You're kind of buying hope. So that's one of the reasons to me that doing videos is also fun, because you never know. You're always hoping that it's gonna get views. That's not the reason you do it, but you get the hope, you get the thrill. And at least, I don't know if you could say that I'm not paying anything, because I'm giving my time to doing this, which I could be doing something else like exercise or whatever, reading more. But yeah, in a way, I'm paying with time for hope. But I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, the point is that marketing now sells hope. And this video started because I was gonna say that you don't need the Ultra 360, Luna Ultra 360 or something like that. Because when I saw it was coming out, I thought, wow, that's really cool. I really want it. That's gonna help me make super cool videos. And I realized that it's just another product that is capitalizing on hope. Maybe it's cool, but it's not gonna change your life. The real marketing of those products is hope, not the technicalities, because you can do whatever you can do with another camera. And I have good enough cameras. I have plenty. I got two. I'm using the Osmo Pocket 3, which I bought like 3 years ago because of hope. And let me tell you, it hasn't worked, but I still enjoy using it, so I guess it's okay. So yeah, the Luna whatever, it's just hope. You buy it because you think, this time I gonna hit it big after I buy this. I just need it. So I really wanted it. And I went into Amazon and I saw the price. It was kind of more expensive there, and they had a few left, but then these were cheaper. So I thought, what if it's one of those tricks where they sell you a piece of paper with a picture of the product and stuff? It wasn't that, but I got to the extremes of how do you say that, precautious, and yeah, I didn't buy it. And then I checked like 2 days later and it was sold out. But now I'm here and I went to a Best Buy and they had a few and it was like not that expensive. And I was, oh my god, I should get it. It is really tempting. I have to fight with myself because it's just another gadget that, yeah, it's gonna be fun for a while. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna feel good for a while, exciting. But the hedonic treadmill is gonna come back, and well, it's not gonna matter. And I just gonna be a victim of marketing. So I was really struggling with the decision because it was there in front of me. And then I left and I came here now because that was in another city close by. And they have it here again. So I was like, okay, I gotta buy it only if they don't make me install an app so I can use it. And well, it seems like you do need an app, so I said, okay, I'm gonna be strong, I'm gonna buy it. But you don't need it. There's a lot of people making videos with their phones, with whatever, and it is about the idea, the talent, the camera. It's a nice touch. It's not gonna make your video. You're not gonna be famous just because of the camera. I mean, I guess you can get one video with a few views if you make a video about the camera or whatever. But there's gonna be a ton of those, so not even that. So anyway, I wanted to talk about hope. And look, a long time ago I read something really interesting, that sometimes hope is the reason for depression. Why? Because there's a reason for low mood, and it's like disappointment helps us change our ways, like saying, okay, this isn't working, I'm gonna do something else. But when we can't let go because they put it into our brain that we shouldn't give up, and if we try hard enough we're gonna make whatever we want and stuff, sometimes that brings us to depression. Because if you think about it, depression is just the lack of motivation, and motivation is dopamine, and dopamine is not pleasure. There's different stuff. Of course, I'm simplifying here, but sometimes it becomes, look, I thought some time ago that disappointment is the price we pay for expectation, for having hope, for having illusions. So some philosophies tell us that we shouldn't have expectations, and that way we wouldn't get disappointed. But I thought a little bit more, and I thought, I think we have to find a middle ground. It's okay to have expectations. What we are supposed to let go of is the rule that we can't face disappointment, failure. So failure, as they say, is the price we pay for self improvement, and disappointment is the price we pay for having hope, for having illusions. And I think it's a fair price, but we should be ready to accept that, okay, yeah, we can play the game, we can try, that's our right, but it's not our right to succeed. So that's why I make the videos. I don't get views, and that's okay. I have the right to play. I don't have the right to win. And that's how I can keep doing something without the frustration. And maybe I could go deeper into this, but it's already long enough. Nobody's gonna get all the way through here, but there's this here. I'm in Google. I was looking for the definition of hope, which I forgot to tell you. Hope is the optimistic state of mind that combines a desire for a specific outcome with the confident expectation that it is achievable. In a way, we need hope to try, but we also need to know when to let go of hope. I went to this darker side of hope and why it can bring to depression, and it's the expectation gap, what I was saying. And more importantly, when we keep trying the same thing without success, it brings us to learn helplessness. Now, that, if you think about it, is just despair, which is biological. It's a way for low mood, for evolution, that made us like give up, save energy, and that's all. Anyway, speaking of hope and get sad, I actually couldn't get his book on Kindle. I don't know why. So I had to get it on audiobook, and I want to make a video about suicidal empathy. So the audio wasn't enough for me, but so I got the physical. They had one copy, and it was kind of roughed up. I don't know if that's the way you say it. And the last book that I've been reading, as I said, it's 1,200 pages. This book, it's 164. And while I was listening to it, I think it's a lot of fluff. I think I'm sorry to say this, but it's a cash grab. There's no comparison to his book, The Consuming Instinct. I was checking the notes, and there's a lot of information of evolution, psychology. Here is like another opportunity for him to mention his 27th time he went with Joe Rogan, and his friendship with Elon Musk. And don't get me wrong, he's a really brave guy, but I don't think this is a great book. And apparently it's selling really well. Good for him. But if a lot of people get this book as his first book, I don't think it's gonna be a good thing. They should get The Consumer Instinct. Even The Parasitic Mind, I didn't think it was that deep, that profound. Like, for example, I think that his idea of the parasitic mind, it's kind of the same idea that Dan Dennett talk in Breaking the Spell, but he just talk about religion and got sad, change it to the woke ideas and stuff like that. The suicidal empathy also, I don't think it's that of an original idea. He even mentions here Paul Bloom. I read his book Against Empathy many years ago, and I think it's kind of an expansion of that. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still I wouldn't say a fan, because I'm not a fan of anyone, but I still value his work, value his braveness. But I don't think this is a great book. I can't say I learned a lot, but I gotta read it again, physical, to do my video. Maybe I'll change my mind. But it's a really short book. I think it's a lazy book. I'm sorry, and I know length has nothing to do, but I don't know.